That's it, man. Let's get right down to it. All right. It has been a crazy week. So, under the circumstances of what's been going on, we can start off with how everybody is feeling today under the circumstances, which we know are the protests, the outcry for George Floyd, and just for Black oppression, Black injustice, and just Black people not being included in what is America today. So I'm gonna just ask y'all how y'all feeling. I'll be quick with mine. A lot of different emotions: anger, sadness, frustration, and also a sense of empowerment with the way that we moving about it, which we'll get into further detail about. But everybody, Kenya, you the guest. We'll start with you first, and everybody else can kind of pick up after that on how they feeling about this.
I know James Baldwin talks about how to be conscious and Black in America is to be always in constant rage. And so I feel like I've been feeling like I've been feeling. I think for a lot of people who are learning, who are being educated right now, or these things are bringing to light inequalities and disparities within our systems, not only just in policing. Because at the same time, we still have a global pandemic going on. You still have an economic crisis going on. And so when you have all of these layers of things, I mean, for a lot of people, they're learning about it. And so I feel like it's a lot of confusion and rage and just wanting for change. But I feel like the type of person that I am, this is my life's work, fighting for equity and trying to be a change agent within our communities, because these things they're not new. And I was just watching a video a couple of days ago. It's from 1971. And you have people in positions of leadership, both Black and white. So you got police and you got different organizational leaders, and they're talking. It's a news broadcast, and it's highlighting major Black cities. And they're literally talking about what we're talking about right now, CNN and MSNBC and Fox, you know what I'm saying? And so when you understand the systemic issues that we're dealing with, when you understand history, you know that this isn't new. And so if you're just now becoming frustrated, that's the first issue at hand. and I encourage people who are feeling some type of way to continue to feel in some type of way, and don't stop feeling no type of way when this stuff leaves the media. And so I would just say, I'm encouraged that people are waking up, and I'm encouraged that things are happening, but I don't want it to stop here. I don't want it to stop a conviction or whatever, because that's not the bottom line for me. And I just want other people to just keep at it. Just keep at it.
Hey, Spooty, moving to you. You had said that you can see some change coming and see some light at the end of the tunnel. And when I was on the forecast page, I was asking you a question. And I said on GOK, I didn't want you to think I was being combative about it as much as I wanted you to elaborate. No, I'm dead ass. I wanted you to elaborate on it, because I agree, but I wanted you to elaborate on it under the page, because we did GOK earlier, and I think me and Krack both agreed that like right now is the turning point for America, and I see that you agree too, because just of how this is being talked about. I think people are opening their eyes. Like Kenya said, I think people are waking up, and we can't let go of that momentum. So I asked, like,
my bad.
No, you good, because you didn't answer.
I know that's what I'm saying. I got I remember you asked. I was pondering on my response, but
you good.
Get back to it.
Because I'm like, we went from being slaves to segregation. Mm-hmm. From segregation to going to jail, from going to jail to getting beat, from going to beat to getting killed. It's like, all right, it's change. Yeah, as a Black man, we're in a better position than like the Black man in the 60s, but I also have to be on my P's and Q's when I get pulled over by a cop, because I might just get shot for no reason today. or just choked out for no reason today. You know, you never know. So it's still a danger. Even in my own home, cops might come in, search warrant, blast me. We don't know. These type of things can happen. So yeah, I agree. I think I see some change too, but I wanted you to elaborate on that. I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Oh no, I knew you weren't
page.
disagreeing. I know what you're doing. I knew what you was doing, my guy. But so one thing I want to speak to this first. I want to say I feel the perception. Well, not the perception, but racism is real, and a lot of people were dismissing it, but now it's really in your face. Even like the white people are our allies that are coming to support and be there for us. They're experiencing it too in their face. They see when they see some black protesters getting pulled up and they're sitting right there, or they might. It was a clip where a white girl was supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and they see how people react to them supporting black people. So it's like it's being showcased on a different level, and I feel like it feels real now, even though it's been real. Like every police brutality, all the things, systemic racism, all this type of things, but it's real now. Even all the police brutality I've witnessed, nothing really I've cried before, but this one, I don't know what it was. I think it just I can't really break down why, but this one was the one that kind of was just like I was at on clock at work and I was looking through my Instagram and I've seen the clip before, but I never seen like the totality of the whole clip of like people baby talking, saying check his pulse and all this stuff. And when the stretcher came out, I didn't see all that stuff. I just kind of seen the guy on his laying on his neck with the knee, and I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. But when I start like actually being able to hear the sounds, the stretcher when they had to hold his head and neck to kind of put him on the stretcher, like him being unresponsive, and the dude kind of just deliberately just putting his knee right there, and it broke me down. I couldn't even go to a couple meetings at work after that. I had to dismiss myself from a couple meetings, and I just kind of told him like, the events I'm seeing on the line, I'm not be able to show up professionally right now, and they understood. So I'm pretty sure they knew what I was talking about. But yeah, I feel like this is the only time we have really received that support from our other allies in a major way. But I feel like we need to show. In this time, I think we all need to just move as a unit, and whatever they feeling, we need to support too. I just feel like we just need to keep it going. Like it can't just be a black matter now. If we getting that support from our allies, if it's a white matter, we need to be there too. Like we need to keep it going. So, yeah.
You know what I told a white person, because I ain't been on social media because I ain't been wanting to. This shit been overwhelming, so I ain't been wanting to like argue with people.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been arguing with a few white people in my community on the Nextdoor app, because somebody had just made a statement like, "Hey, why are we doing this Black Lives Matter thing again?" And when I say this has been like 5 days of black and white people just kind of like going back and forth, white allies as well, but just the community around me, just going back and forth about it. You know, a white person has said like, he has said something along the lines of, you know, he doesn't want to feel ashamed of being white. He doesn't want to apologize for something that he didn't do. And, you know, I'm just trying to tell him I'm not looking for an apology from you. I'm not looking for any. I'm looking for you to recognize the problem. And I said, don't be upset that we are fighting for what we feel is a problem. If something's going on in the white community that you feel like is the problem, opioids, if you feel like that's a problem, talk about it. Don't get upset at another race for talking about something that they feel is an issue. Something? Go ahead.
Can I cut in?
Pop in. Yes, you can. Pop in.
Because that you bring that opioid shit up.
That's something that they saw as an issue. I didn't think it was a big deal.
Yeah. I just want to do this because I want to paint kind of like a juxtaposition between the crack era and this opioid shit. All right. I just received like some mail saying that if you have been affected by the opioid crisis, you could be getting some money. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have somebody that was affected by work or died from it, and that I think that is like a shining example of like where we are as people right now. We had a whole the 80s was full of crack, full of parents who couldn't take care of their children anymore. Like it fucked our community up in ways that we still feel like today. That type of care was not shown to our people in that time, and it that shit hurt, bro. Like when you talk about, like, I think, and I keep talking about this, like when I had conversations with just like I'll have like personal conversations or I'll talk about it on the podcast, but it's this this way that we've normalized our living that I think we're like fine with how things are because this is like all we've known. But when we examine like how we have to live from day to day, like that shit is like it's really tough. Like when you step outside of like, we can't step outside of our skin, but looking at just like how if we were white, a lot of things go out the window that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and it's shoved in your face every day. But I think we've gotten used to just like, yo, this is how we living right now. This isn't different for us, and
survival.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we feel like we built for it. So, you know what I'm saying? We take pride in being able to like get it out the mud, bro. Like that's our shit. Like that's our shit. You know, we take pride in being able to like make something out of nothing. So I don't know, like
that's crazy why, about that opioids thing. That I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
bro. Like I just got that in the mail.
My mail. I need to peep that.
Just got it in the mail.
Because if they send something like, if the crack era affected you, I need some. I need. Fam, I need it.
Yeah, and
need some cheese.
But would they even do that though? Would they even do that?
Never. I doubt it.
That's what I'm saying. That should be alarming to people, and I would hope like. That's why I am happy that we have like white allies like right now. It seems like it because we can't do it by ourselves, bro. We just can't. We need that help. We need that help. Like being in America as a minority, having so much stripped from us, like whether it's just physical manual labor or that runs us into the ground, you know what I'm saying, that basically kills us, or just having like more creative things that that we come up with and things that we come from or ideas and concepts that comes from our culture are stripped away from us. Our creativity is stripped away from us. It's like really fucked up. Like if we were to sit down and like really just like focus on like how we're fucked over like on a day-to-day basis, and how like a lot of today's circumstances mirror like circumstances decades ago, and how our ancestors and our grandparents, our great-grandparents, like they fought to give us something better, and we have gotten better incrementally though. It's like I sometimes I feel like our ancestors would be disappointed with like how much white supremacy has just continued and kept us down, because
we don't do as much as them. And I said that to my students the other day, that we don't do as much as them. Like we're talking about a period of time where you know, 5 little black girls was killed in a church that got bombed. You know what
But
I'm
I
saying?
don't
We
necessarily
bombing churches, like
but no,
things like that.
I don't
You know what I'm saying?
necessarily I don't necessarily think. All right, I
Man,
don't
these
think
niggas walk
they.
5 miles to work for a year.
I'm
Can
saying
niggas do that
we
right
can't.
now?
I'm saying we can't. Okay, this is almost like the NBA conversation. Like you can't compare. Like we can't help the era that we came up in. We can only do the best that we can do in our era. Certain things weren't afforded to that generation because we've moved forward, like in technology and shit like that. But I feel like our generation is doing a lot. Like there's not there is not a coincidence between our generation kind of leading this shit going on right now and that spanning to other countries in a way that they never seen. You know what I'm saying? That's things that they couldn't do. And that's not saying that they were not afforded that because they're not in our era. But I feel like the way that we're mobilizing right now is should be commended. Like
Facts. I wasn't saying that at all.
No,
yeah, I wasn't saying that at all.
I think like when you compare our era, I think we doing.
I'm just saying I ain't out here getting bit by German shepherds and hit with fire
I get
hoses.
that. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I understand that.
I don't know how well I do out there. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm saying like, but the dog. Okay, we still getting killed though. You know what I'm saying? Like beyond anything. Slaps disappeared. I don't want to.
Hey, one thing I want to, because me and Myles was having a side conversation, you know, another day or so ago, and basically kind of what you were saying is like, even when we're growing up and if we become successful, we have a burden of a whole community on our backs. I don't think white, you know, most whites don't really have that burden. Like we're responsible for making the change when the change is most likely given to them, like the opioids thing. We don't have that opportunity where organizations, until kind of now I see stuff popping up, people giving funding here and there and yada yada, but we normally don't have those type of things to where me or you are responsible for teaching people how to get a business, and we're not fully educated on it. We're responsible for teaching these things in our community when we're not even the best at it, when they have opportunities that's kind of placed there. And I think we kind of just normalize, oh, this is what we're doing, this is how we got to do it. But it's not just because we normalize it doesn't mean it is right. And that's what I was trying to say the other day to my fellow podcast member Myles here.
No, I mean,
me and Spooty was disagreeing.
Yes, a fact. Stop.
I mean, we not, and that's why I feel like a lot of people don't understand that it's cool to disagree too. Because again, like we all know the narrative of being damaged growing up in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, Krack, I take hella pride in this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I have to grind, I have to work, I have to do all these great things just to make sure that we good. I take pride in that. You know what I'm saying? And I just made it before all this happened. I made a post saying like, you know, how I'm damaged, you know, as a man and as a person. And, you know, at times I feel like it's too late to fix. And my goal is to make sure that our youth don't grow up that way. You know what I'm saying? Or just get them an outlet. So everything, I mean, I feel the same way that everybody feel. Like Kenya said, me and Kitty, like we didn't work a long time. You know what I'm saying? We've been pushing for these things a long time. And again, I just hope that people keep it moving. Every time you see me with a shirt on, it's somebody black made it. You feel me? Like my main goal is continue to support black business. Like Spooty said, we've been supporting this damn near going on 10 years now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like, I done seen people push it, and then as soon as it kind of die down, everybody disappear, and it's the same ones that's still moving and still working, but everybody has to be consistent and continue to go. We have a lot of black-owned banks. We have a lot of black-owned grocery stores. We have a lot of black-owned businesses here, but we do not go to them or support them because we don't even trust each other.
And where that come from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a lot of this shit, like it all go back to just white supremacy, bigotry, and like the world we're taught to be in You know what I'm saying? Like we're given like another set of rules that white people frankly just aren't. Just period.
And I feel
And
like
the
we gotta
thing
start.
about that is, it's not only here. Like people look at this systemic racism or inequality in culture. It's the same thing when you go to other countries. You know what I'm saying? I can give a perfect example about South Africa. South Africa is majority Black.
Yep.
The experience that a Black person in Soweto who wants to, you know what I'm saying, grow themselves, go to university, you know what I'm saying, start to integrate, get into these systems. It wasn't until the 2000s that education system, higher ed, started to see more Blacks. You get like, it's like we think that this is just colonization is so important in these dialogues, and it is a systemic situation. To your point, Cracker Brown, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're literally dealing with two of the same kind of things that happen. We just call them different things.
Yep.
And one population is able to get assistance, and another population was completely damaged and destroyed and continues to deal with those damages, and we still can't get a leg up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at what point, and I hear y'all with the allyship and all of that, you know, I try to take on and off my radical hat as I please. But, you know, I'm beyond allyship. I said in a meeting recently with a higher up, I'm not gonna put them out there, but they said we need more leaders. A lot of these people are in places and spaces where they don't need us to tell them what to do. You know what the problem is.
That's a fact.
So I shouldn't have to tell you, you know, they describe ally being someone that it's like you got to bring them into the picture and tell them what to do. No, you step up and do it.
Yeah, hey, white silence. Hey, white silence is killing us just as much.
Feel like I missed a great segment.
You did. It's all
fucking.
Good, we held it down
because her mother can't control the children.
I just had to change. I had my son was taking off his diaper himself, and he had a horrible experience in there, man.
Like,
how to get that
how
together.
did an 8-month-old unplug the router?
Yeah, but no,
we back.
Yeah, I feel like mobilization among our society is extremely. We have to make sure we tight like this. Like we got to make sure we in the fist. Because even with that, with these white allies and whatnot, if we ain't got it right at home at the crib, like it's not gonna go how we need it to go. Like,
Myles, did you touch on what we was talking about off cam?
A little bit, but me like Spooty kind of brought it up. You talk about me and Spooty?
No, when you was just saying like how we don't need, you know what I'm saying, need like.
I can get into it because
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to quote you. You go ahead. I don't want to quote it.
I feel like at the moment, Spooty kind of changed. I get us needing, you know, the whites for certain things, but I really do feel like we could build our own community and build it to the point where we're not dependent on them.
Sure, we know that's the goal.
Yeah, and I understood what you were saying off cam about that, because I'm like, we do have the resources to do so. Obviously, with the black billionaires we have, with you know what I'm saying, we got a lot. We should be able to mobilize ourselves with money. We have enough money to do what it is that we need to do, but without them doing it, we need white people. You know what I'm saying?
And we need some get back, bro. Like at the end of the day, like for everything that's been stripped of us,
we built this shit,
they
bro.
look, I mean, I heard this. This woman gave the most impassioned speech. I wish I knew who she was, but she was like, listen, like y'all done ripped so much from us, bro.
No, she be
like y'all lucky that we not going out for revenge. We just want something of our own so we can continue to build. But like we way behind, like they owe us. They owe us, period. So like I feel like
to God, they do.
a lot of that shit, like as far as gaining allies, and so these motherfuckers turn around and say, like, yo, listen, we owe them. Give them what the fuck they need. We gonna be fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the people that I know are of like we getting it. Like, we're going to get it. Fuck whatever they doing. Like, because even prior to any of this, we all believe in the businesses that we support. That's before anybody was protesting. That's before any of this shit. So I feel like right now, the importance in getting those allies is so things open up a little bit and make it easier. Like, I'm not even thinking about me. I'm thinking about, my kids. Like, we all got kids and shit. Like, if things are easier, so we have to, maybe we got to dig a little bit deeper. We got to do a little bit more. Like, if our kids ain't got to do that shit and and we can build that generational wealth, bro. Like, that's all we all want, bro.
Let's see.
We're not gonna get that from them.
Let's see. I got somebody.
Oh, period. Oh, I know that.
With them.
Real quick, I got somebody in the comments. The Needless to Say show. Shout outs to y'all for tuning in. That's my guy,
Jay. What's the deal?
Okay, shout outs to Jay, man. He said at times like this, if we don't stick together, then we are done for. I wholeheartedly agree. He said ain't no allies but us, to be honest. I won't fully agree with that, but I understand your opinion.
I get the mindset
on that. Yeah, I get the mindset for sure. Whereas let me draw the attention here. I haven't gotten to the point, right, where I understand. I haven't gotten to the point where I've wanted to tear this bitch up, but I understand. I understand the people who want to tear shit the fuck up. I'm not talking to you people who are using and abusing George Floyd's death to loot and riot for your own benefit, but I mean niggas who are just angry to the point where they want to see shit burn.
And that's a difference.
Because there's people out there like that. It's a big difference. I'm separating the two. You heard it here. I'm separating the two. It's people that want to see shit burn. I feel like if I seen my motherfucking son die in the streets in like by a white cop, wherever the fuck that nigga from, I want to see that whole bitch burn down unless nigga standing with me. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. But for the people who out there like, just using this shit as a time to, what I'm saying, get some shit for their household or get some shit to sell after this is all over. But it's people who are angry to the point where they want to see shit burn. And I get that. While I'm not to that point where I want to go and burn shit up, that ain't me. But I know that I could be triggered to get there. Anybody on this podcast right here, right now, if something happened to y'all by a white man, or like, let's say any of y'all niggas is in like Southfield and like y'all get killed by a white cop, and niggas in Southfield ain't standing behind me, I'm gonna want to burn their community down and make all them niggas suffer for not caring. And that's where I will be at. So I understand it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm a peaceful protest type of nigga up until the next shit is needed. And needless to say, show Jay is his name. He said, at this point we got to take it. A peaceful approach ain't the move. And I'm not mad at him for feeling that way. Mm-hmm. I ain't upset at niggas for feeling that way. But you niggas who are looting and doing the most for your benefit, fuck y'all. But for niggas who just want to see shit burn down because of how they feel, because of the anger, I don't want it to tear shit up before. They got motherfucking what they call them, like little anger rooms and shit like that around the world for a reason. Like, you go $30 an hour so that you could break shit. I get it.
Yeah, but those are privileged spaces.
But to burn the community, yeah, I agree. But to burn the community, but to burn your community around you and burn the black businesses, I don't understand. So but if you want to burn and fuck up the cities that oppressed you, I can't be mad at you for your emotion, because I'd have acted out on emotion 1,000 times.
Though.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to look at both perspectives, though. So let's just be clear that in history, there's never been transformation without some kind of bloodshed, violence, war.
Yeah, unruly shit, right?
You don't see real transformation unless you see violence in some aspect or form. The issue is that we have to understand the intent behind what are people doing these things for. When you see people, breaking and demolishing and hitting over Confederate ideals and statues that represent a period, those are strategic moves because they're trying to make a point, right? And that's not just happening here. That's happening across the world.
UK just tore a nigga down earlier.
Something crazy.
And when you
That's
have
crazy.
people that are essentially what you call looting, I call it's a rage, right? There are some people who feel some type of way and they're uneducated, or they may be ignorant to their history, and they don't know any other way to express what they feel. And I feel like y'all just had a conversation around the simple fact that, you know, oh, y'all owe us, pay up. For some people, that's their way of getting it. And I think that, you know, we shun some groups for how they express their rage, express their anger. Again, you cannot control unrest. And when you're in a time where people are fed up, when people are in poverty, when people don't have access, when people feel like they're overlooked, that's when those things tend to happen. And I mean, quite frankly, even though I did see some photos of some folks coming out of Nike, I'm like, this is the happiest riot I've ever seen. But essentially, some of those folks feel like that's their way of getting back what they want. You know what I'm saying? But again, those are those underlying, I feel like, conditions that we have that play into some of these larger aspects when we think about white supremacy and capitalism, right? So we're angry, but yet we're looting or we're going in and damaging so that we can promote the same brands that essentially, you know, don't support us or our community. So I think that we have to take a look in the mirror, and we have to really start with ourselves. And I do agree with the comments that are being made by the gentleman that y'all were just talking about. But we have to start with us, because what is it that we really mad about, and what is it that we really are fighting for? Because then you can begin to put strategy and understanding to all the madness. But the madness has to happen because we have to release all of this stuff that's built up. It's just going to come out differently.
Got to release that anger, right?
That's not like think about the police during these protests. So say for instance, you getting, because sometimes these police are bullies during these protests. To me, most of the cases, like
I agree.
I for sure think they antagonize. Yeah, for sure.
I'll talk about the protests I went to yesterday after you comment.
I for sure think they entice people to want to do things at these protests and lash out. So say for instance, you getting tear gas and all this stuff, you're mad. You don't want to go over there and punch a police officer and probably get shot. So I'm about to, you know what I mean? If I'm getting bullied at school and I feel a certain type of way, I might go home and punch a wall in. I might go and, you know, do some things like that. So I think people be frustrated at these protests and they just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just throw a brick through here because it's the only thing I really feel like I can do and get away with right now. So it might start, like, I might not even have the intention to do anything damaging here, and even though I'm enraged to do so, it could have been the police during these protests that kind of like just make you feel like I'm mad as hell. I want to sock the shit out of him. I want to shoot one of these motherfuckers. But
it's that same from Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, I'm gonna just throw this brick through this window, and it just causes a domino effect because everybody else is frustrated around them. But
when you come with the aggressive approach, all right. So protest yesterday, that we went to out here in Hall Road, and like when Myles talked to me and we was playing in the protest, first thing I said to Myles was I ain't want to march in a black community. All right, I want to march in a white one. He agreed. Yeah, he agreed because he was on the same tip. And, you know, we getting it set up in Dearborn. So yesterday, out here in Clinton Township, Shelby Township, where a motherfucker is on the verge of being fired for his thoughts on George Floyd, the police chief. We shut down a fucking busy ass street with businesses, white business. We shut that bitch down with more than 4,000 people. And come to find out, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been advocating for this march. Come to find out, it was started by 3 young ladies. And, you know, I don't know who the fuck listens to this podcast and don't care, but their names is Mary Vugich, Angel Santana, and Ariana Bellevue.
Santana.
All right.
Let's go.
Chippewa Valley High School. They said it started as a text message, and then they got with the city. They got with the cops, and they was able to get this shit shut down for longer than 2 miles we walked.
That's why you need allies.
All the businesses had to close. It was 2 black young ladies and 1 white young lady. And she said on the stage, she said, I don't know nothing that they've been through, and I don't know nothing that your community been through, but I understand. And that's all we need. And these is kids, and that's all we need to understand. So that was great. Only one police department, because it was Clinton Township out there. It was Macomb County Sheriff Department, Shelby Township, Utica, all those people. It was one police department that showed up in riot gear. And it's like, for what, nigga? For what? We just here to march and say our shit. Y'all coming here with riot gear on for what reason? Why is the rest of these police department, the majority, showing up in regular clothes? Y'all in Shelby Township. Ain't nobody out here to do that. Niggas don't even cross 8 Mile. Ain't nobody coming out here for that. We coming out here to march. It was more white people out there than black people. This is a majority white community. You know what's up. All right.
And it's crazy because on that video I told y'all about from 71, this is exactly what they was talking about. They were questioning why were police putting so much money into riot gear, pepper spray, and mace.
For what? Y'all ain't never had to use it. Y'all ain't had to use it out here in Shelby.
This is what they're preparing for. This is the fear, the white fear, because of this, how they view you as a black person, right? And so these are like mindsets that are hard to shift, and they've been preparing from the riots that happened previously.
Because I've been arguing with people on that Nextdoor app, like, because they've been talking about like rioting, and I'm like, y'all more worried about rioting that's not gonna happen in Shelby Township than y'all are about the actual reason why we're marching. All right, so nobody's gonna riot out here. I can assure you. We're just out here to get our voices heard. That's it. We're not out here to riot. All right. We are out here to march. We don't want to tear up I don't want to tear up the mire that I go to. Where I'm gonna go? I need to shop here.
Though,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do that. Where does it?
What I'm saying.
They're watching the news. They're watching the news.
This is what they've done historically to our communities. And they have this
riot and pillage
belief that black people are going to one day rise up and burn down their communities the same way that they burned down our communities over the years. Yeah. And so this is a white issue.
And let me say
about if you're in an all white community or a mostly white community, and they have like the riot gear and whatnot, and you already know the white people are not threatened by each other. It's clearly white paranoia of what could come from blacks moving in. So
there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to defund them. Defund them.
Let me say this, bro. So at the end of the protest, which was fucking amazing. Like, I'm glad my nephew had pushed for us to go. So after the protest, of course it didn't end at the march. You know what I'm saying? There was a young lady out there who started chants. She was starting chants, and you could hear the pain because we was masked up. You could hear the pain. You could see the pain in her eyes. And she started these chants. Hands up, don't shoot. No justice, no peace. Say his name. Say her name. And we was chanting for like an hour longer to the top of our lungs, and we was in that circle. The circle started out like this, and the circle ended up being like this around her. And when I looked at anybody across from me, white, black, gay, heterosexual, ain't matter, I could see the pain and the reason why they was out there, because I couldn't see their mouth because the people that was in that circle was masked up. That was such a fucking intense connection that I've never felt before by just looking at the person across from me, staring at them and chanting what they was chanting. Like, we was ready for war. We was ready. Like, nigga, if a nigga wanted to turn up right then and there, I can't say that I wouldn't want it to follow. I sort of got like, just looking at, bro, it was a white girl that was crying her fucking eyes out across from me. Because she feel that pain. Her friends is black. You know what I'm saying? She understand. Her friends is black. She don't want to see nothing happen to them.
I see, and I think
you know what I'm saying?
And
that shit was intense, bro. Like, I loved every minute of it. and we was just out there just fucking chanting, bro, and just yelling just so that we could be fucking heard on the other side of Hall Road, bro. Like, that's it. And like Emil was there, and Emil started kind of like on the outward side of it. And then by the time like we got to the middle, like probably a half hour in, he was right there next to me. My nigga, we loud saying what we gotta say through the mask, bro. It was, bro, that shit was amazing. If you haven't been to a rally or a protest, I suggest you try your best to get to one. I know everybody busy. Try your best to get to one, because this shit right here is history. It's intense. It just make you feel a sense of power out there. And to see everybody, like to see these allies, like these niggas is allies. It was a white man that came up saying different names. Like, let's say his name next. He know the names. He's sick of this shit too. He know the names. Like, let's say his name next. All right, let's say his name next. Like, my nigga, you know the names better than me. And that shit is amazing. And that shit is amazing to see that you care enough about people, about the other race. Because honestly, if all lives fucking matter, like y'all say, if all lives matter like y'all say, y'all will care about this race that doesn't feel included in that. Y'all will care enough to include them. If you got 3 kids and one of these niggas doesn't feel like they getting enough attention from you as parents, and they crying out for attention, you're going to address it. It ain't that other two don't matter, but this one over here doesn't feel like we give him enough attention. So let's pull him in so that he feels like we love him enough and giving him enough attention. It's the same thing with this. I'm not saying that your life don't matter. I don't want to see no white person get shot in the head or unarmed white person get killed either. I don't want to see that shit.
Hey, the guy that got pushed, the old man.
That was some bullshit, bro. And they lied about that shit. They didn't know it was no video. They went back to the station and said he tripped and fell. Then a video came out.
They said
he tripped and fell. Then a video came out, and now these niggas is under pressure. Stop lying. There's cameras everywhere, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, cops be lying all the fucking time.
Stop it. It's too many videos everywhere. That was some bullshit. They talking about he was the aggressor. The motherfucker was like 75. Move him out the way.
He couldn't even catch his balance, bro.
A riot helmet. Like, it looked like he was trying to just give my man's a riot helmet, and then my man's just start bugging out, pushed him back for nothing.
One thing to consider out of all of this too is that, and I think Slaps, you make a good point, we're in a war of good and evil. And I feel like every time in the spaces that I'm in, when I hear our allies speak up, it's always this question about, well, how do I, right? How can I support and be there? It's about being a good person. And I think that a lot of times that's the easiest thing. It's about being a good person. The same thing that you will want for your child, your family, the people that's in your circle. These are the same things that people have been fighting for centuries. And I think that if they just think of it in that sense, and so for me, it's like, if you're truly an ally, then most likely you're a good person, which is why dude is knowledgeable and able to speak more to it than you even know, because he cares, because he's a good person. And that is the problem of race. It's that simple. Racism is about good and evil. Even though we deal with all of the systemic things that come along with it, you have to learn through, but we're definitely dealing with that.
And I need niggas to stop, like people were saying, like, Obama divided the country, Trump's dividing the country. Listen, if black people are being oppressed by under any administration, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't give a fuck about who the president is if black people are being oppressed. The things y'all niggas gotta understand is that your local government, your local judges, your local cops, these are the people oppressing you. Listen, Trump is a piece of shit, but he's not the nigga out here stepping on niggas' necks and shit. All right? It's the cop that's in your community that's doing so.
I would love people to...
I've seen cops on bullshit through every administration through my life. I just said that shit on Krack's podcast. I don't have a good story about a cop. I don't. I don't care about none of that shit. The country been divided. It's been divided. It didn't come with Obama. It's been divided. Like segregation just ended in the 60s. Then we had the war on drugs. We went through, come on, Reagan era. You telling me the country wasn't divided through Reagan? It's been divided. Like, stop acting like this is some new shit. It's some bullshit.
I keep seeing people really politicizing what I think is just a human rights issue. It's not Democrat or Republican. People
I
are
don't even
trying to
fuck with every
posture.
Democrat. Like, niggas gotta stop that shit. I don't fuck with all that shit. A two-party system.
Yeah. I don't subscribe to any party. I get really irritated because I saw on Twitter like earlier, I think like Tom Arnold like became like a trending topic because he was bringing up about how like liberals like the narrative is liberals don't have guns, but let's show them that we have guns and support Black Lives Matter and go straight up to Trump. And that's another thing, like people keep making this a Trump issue. Like, yo, bro, we've said this multiple times. This is centuries worth of oppression. It's not a particular person that gets in the office and we're like, oh, because being real, I think George W. Bush came out with like a statement which basically admonished like Trump. He didn't directly say anything Trump related, but this is still the same president that Kanye said doesn't care about Black people. And I would still stick to that. Like, I felt underserved as a Black man at that time. That's kind of the point. Like, we have had to deal with this for too fucking long. And it's not based on, because even we go back to the Emancipation Proclamation, Abraham Lincoln was a fucking Republican at the time. So a lot of this shit is just like business as usual. People just change the names, like the characters change, but the game don't change. You know what I'm saying? And I can't like fuck around, talk about let's talk about the 13th Amendment. Like, if we gonna get into politics and all that shit, let's address that first. As far as like people being Democrats and Republicans and all liberals and all this shit, fuck, like I said this on Twitter, like most of the people that I know who got guns don't subscribe to no political party. And the reason that they have it is just to make sure like they're safe. They're not giving a fuck about like people's affiliation. Of course, go out and vote, all that shit. Make sure like people that fit you know what I'm saying, like your agenda represent you in office. But as far as politicizing, like this is not a political issue. This is a human issue. This is a human rights issue. Like this is about people who don't have, period. You know what I'm saying? And once you start bogging it down with all that other shit, like, Trump was talking about George Floyd looking down about the jobs and all that shit. Like that's a very disgusting example, but a lot of these politicians will spin it in a way that looks, well, they try to present it as less disgusting. And I don't fuck with that. I think and like I said, police brutality is very important for us to rally against, but let's not forget that that is a symptom of white supremacy. White supremacy is what we need to be fucking tearing down. That is it. Because once we get rid of that shit, then everything, all of this shit, as far as like generational wealth, all this shit that they've been cutting us off at, because like when we've tried to build Black Wall Street and shit, and when they've always come and burned down our shit or drop bombs on our shit, that they've continuously stopped us from achieving. Fuck politics. We gotta focus on, like I said, the fist. Like we gotta make sure like our shit is together and not get bogged down by like that other shit. Because I feel like it's not as important as what we're trying to get to.
I got a question, Krack. What about your feelings? Because you said, so one thing that you said that stood out was this idea that we need to really be focused on white supremacy. What about capitalism and its roots and thinking deeper?
That's rooted in white supremacy. Like, okay. Anything.
I just want to see because I think some stuff is like social, structural, and then we got economic systems, and we got some people who don't want that part to be gone either.
All of these,
and it's just layers.
No, all of these systems are, I feel like, are all put in place with the understanding that we can't let this shit get out of our control. Let's make sure like nobody else has that opportunity to have what we have. Like this shit is rigged. Like everybody says that shit. Like everybody knows like the game is rigged. We try to do what we can and we still got billionaires out of that shit. We still got millionaires out of that shit. And that's something that we can take pride in. But we know like from the get-go, we are on an uneven level. And a lot of that comes from, like I said, above white supremacy is, and just a lot of this shit, when we talk about things being systemic, that's all across the board. That's the housing, that's the jobs, that's, you know what I'm saying? From
education.
Childcare. It goes healthcare. Like this is just
global pandemic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, period. You know what I'm saying? It's everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I want like police brutality. Yes, we don't want that shit. But let's not forget, like, they don't want niggas in houses. Like, just period. Like, they don't want you to own shit. They do not want you to own anything.
And that's understanding that police brutality is an oxymoron in itself. I mean, when you understand the history of police, what was they even put in place to do? So even with these, and that's what I mean by, we have people who are waking up and know that these things are wrong, but I think that a lot of people really, and this is the part that we really, and this is what I feel like, it isn't our obligation. This is a white problem. But white people really need to get out of that box, because a lot of them have been taught so much wrong about our history, and they have been, and they continue this generation to generation, where it literally takes you, kind of like us as well, to be intentional about what's the truth. And for some of them, when they had those aha moments, it's like, what the fuck? You know, because they learn like everything I've been taught is a lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you really understand it, that's why it's so hard when you talk about breaking, because a lot of people have been taught so many lies about why these folks are this way, why things are the way that they are, but these things run so deeply that something as simple as police brutality is an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? And we're not even understanding that, because we think the police are here to protect and serve, and that's not what they were created to do in the first place. So how can they have your best interest at heart when they were created, you know, post-slavery? Just having to know that. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a big picture we got to tackle. And we got to do it simultaneously, because to your point, one impacts the other. And that's what we got to know.
Real black shit.
Here he comes.
Check my
come in
greens.
on the funniest pieces when he checked back.
What's going on? Fuck whites.
No.
No.
Hey, I
been on that wave
thing, though. I want to think of this thing.
I'm sick. My shit was muted this whole time. Oh,
you was talking?
God.
Go ahead.
No, I love that. I'm like, I know these niggas ain't ignoring me like this. This shit is crazy.
No, Myles, we wouldn't ignore you.
I'm on.
That would be the sickest shit. If he probably had the best rant he ever had too.
I'm so fucking.
It's over.
All right, so my question.
We got T Lee in this bitch. Z Taylor in this bitch. Oh, Rare checking in. What's good, Rare? I heard a lot about you. You my Rare. Nigga. You my nigga off my niggas. All right, that's how I do. You a friend of a friend. Rare in the building. T. Lee in the building. After Rodney King and George Floyd, they said the economy went up. I don't know if y'all was, I guess y'all was discussing that, but yeah.
Ask your question, Myle.
No, so one of my students, we be kicking it about real shit. And I know me and Spooty was with me on an incident at my house before with the police. So they asked, they basically asked, when a cop is disrespecting you, is it a law that you cannot speak, talk, kind of defend yourself? Like, what's the best attitude to have when a cop is
from Spooty's side of the story, I heard Joe ass was tripping off the jump.
I mean,
nah. Hey, Myles just hopped out. The fuck y'all niggas?
No, that wasn't the case.
Bro, last time Spooky told the story, which it was on camera. It's on record that he told the story. He made you seem like you hopped out irritated, like nigga.
Bro, the cop had his hand on his gun approaching the car after we at my house chilling.
So I'm saying he's tripping in the case that his life may be in danger based off his actions.
That's a fact.
I'm not saying he was doing the most to get those warranted actions.
Thanks for clearing that up. I'm saying you thought you was about to die that day.
Cause like
Spooty thought he was going with you.
I could have for sure.
Yeah, like I'm like, bro, just when we encounter the cops, it's like just kind of like be calm, be easy, comply. I mean, he was questioning them. He was questioning them.
Tell the story, please.
Man,
for the listeners,
he still was. He was slightly a little bit trippy though. He wasn't being
I admit I was
violent or nothing. But
listen. When Myles get to that point, it's no turning back, buddy.
He was cursing. I'm like, oh my
it takes a lot for him to get there, but once he gets there, we're not turning back. Once he gets there,
yeah, tell the story.
But it take a lot. But once he get there, it ain't. Come on, man. Right, we ain't turning back. We here.
So me and Spooty been at the crib probably for like an hour. We was about to go to state. Actually, we was about to go to Michigan State, and we go to the gas station. Literally, we wasn't even gone 2 minutes. So apparently, my sister got robbed a block ahead, like a block away from my house. So we pull up. We sitting outside.
Where do you stay at? Where do you stay at?
I'm in Oak Park, by the way.
OP. I'm from OP.
So they pull up.
Shitty police department.
You know how they sped up though. It wasn't even a pull up. Like they flying. Like whoa. He hop out. Put your hands on the fucking stairwell, holding his gun. I just lost it because like I said, like we chilling and I'm at my house in my car. So I'm like, what's the issue, officer? And he just
mind you, we've talked outside the house millions of times.
Come on, bro.
In the car, even standing outside, it's ridiculous.
And I ain't gonna lie, I was really annoyed because I asked him like, what's the issue, officer? And I wasn't even on tip yet, and he just still yelling. And I at that point I lost it because he's like, you not even let me know what's going on. And if this the case that my sister just got robbed, why would I come back to where it happened at? And you didn't even tell me that situation. Like my wife's sister came out telling me, chill out. They didn't even tell me what happened. They just got their hand on their gun and get ready to point out. And I'm like, bro, y'all can get the fuck away from my crib.
There you go.
So I mean, I'm sure that wasn't the best thing
to that though.
But I felt like he pushed me to that point, and it took a black officer to come talk to me, bro. And that shit is trash to me because, and this is what I asked him. I said, listen, bro, if your daughter or your sister got robbed, what is your emotion at that point? And he couldn't even answer.
Yeah, you can't never ask, like, use logic with a cop and watch them just like not answer. Anytime you say anything logical, like, why exactly are you doing this? Like, they
so the original question is, how do you act when a cop is pushing your buttons and trying to like? And I told him, try and stay calm as possible. And I told him, as a kid, try to get in contact with your parent as soon as possible.
Listen, bro, I done had cops run into the apartment off of like, an argument with a young lady.
Yeah.
All right, they done came into the apartment just tripping off of like the neighbors calling somebody tripping and shit. and niggas say shit to trigger you, and you gotta keep your cool. Cause a nigga told me, I said, yo, y'all ain't supposed to. I remember I told a nigga, I said, y'all not supposed to be able to just come in my crib and do all this searching that y'all doing. This nigga say, oh, you know, what your Michigan State education told you that? Huh?
Shit like that.
Same thing happened to me.
You ever been
so
called homie? You ever been called homie?
Said, yeah. You said same thing happened to you?
Same thing. And y'all see me.
This shit was in Lansing. That shit was some bullshit. Like,
yep.
Man, like, yeah, my education told me that, buddy. You're not supposed to be able to be in here doing all that. But you know, I ain't had nothing, so I'm like, fuck it.
That's what's important. We have to start educating ourselves about law.
No, facts.
And I think if we were better educated, it would be easier for us to handle police. Because I said the same thing. So I'm like, it's something you're doing right now that's illegal, but I can't put my finger on it because I'm not educated.
It's something though.
And it's like when you
Michigan State education, like nigga, fuck you.
You know
nigga.
what you can and can't do, and you can bring that out. And even if something happens, you're able to better protect yourself after it happens. And even we find that, you know, some of us, well, I know myself, I can speak for myself. I've had incidents to where I was educated enough and I had the resources or access to where those things didn't impact me long term because I had a situation with a cop and I know that something wasn't right or they were using their position to kind of get over on me. And I think that post that also, even when those incidents happen, how do we handle it posted? A lot of us, we throw them tickets away. We don't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? We have to start dealing with it. Standing up for ourselves.
I can say that as a younger person, I didn't feel like dealing with shit. But as an adult, I got time to deal with shit. I'm coming for every little piece of situation, nigga. Fucking Afterpay, the website that lets you like pay shit in like 4 installments. These niggas got a little black-owned section on their website, and I saw a couple non-black-owned businesses. I'm like, no, I got the time to send this email today, niggas. These niggas, I'm on this shit. These niggas ain't black-owned. Get them the fuck out of here, all right? And they sent an email back like, we're going to forward this to our website. When I was like 24, I wouldn't have did that shit. I'm like, I don't feel like it. I feel like it now. I feel like it. Couple comments. Needless to say, so Jay, he said these cops so janky, but how can the cop tell us how to respond with a gun pointed at me? Facts. Ryan, Big Neff, he said you just do what they tell you, or you really can do is you can't really do anything else, or they gonna fuck you up. And Ryan got stopped by the cops about 2 months ago and just got patted down, recorded, picture taken, all type of bullshit like 2 months ago out on Clinton Township.
It's important to say though. It's important to say though. You can still do everything that they tell you, and you will still get murdered. And
Z Taylor, I had a cop point a gun in my face at 15. I wasn't that young. I was in my 20s when a cop actually pointed a weapon at me.
Me too.
But this is all like
he didn't point it at.
This is all ridiculous shit. And I was down ridiculous. Like this, and they still pointed it. I'm like, damn, I thought I did what I was supposed to do. It was 5 of them shits.
So
like,
my thing is,
and these are the things we should be fighting for. Legislation. You shouldn't be able to point a gun, right? We got to start speaking up on that because all of y'all shouldn't have that story.
The worst part about this, like when I was a teen, I got pulled out of my car at a corner store. They thought we were suspects for something else. We got patted down. They had like machine guns and everything. Like they thought we was part of some shit. They let us go and stuff like that. But it was the time my house that got raided because they felt like we were selling drugs out the house, whatever case may be. And at the time, my nephew was he's autistic and stuff like that. So some of his functions aren't as normal as others, you know what I mean? So he follows directions, but sometimes he can get overly excited and you know what I mean? But they were like pointing guns at my autistic nephew and trying to force him to get down and comply. And in that moment, luckily I wasn't there, but I could just imagine them coming through my crib, tearing it up, and trying to get my nephew to comply to some orders that he may not fully comprehend at the time. You know what I mean? And that probably would have traumatized me. But even knowing about it, it fucked me up. Like, bro, like you can't tell that, you know, he has a condition. You can't kind of tell. I just don't. I understand that they have to have force and they have to kind of present this dominant.
They don't.
But needless to say, sir, it should be legal to shoot them if they really on that shit. And I agree.
Exactly.
We can't even protect ourselves, even if it's self-defense, and that's a fact. I had 5 guns pointed at me. If I wanted to shoot one of these niggas, I probably would go to jail for life. And that's insane that these niggas can shoot me, but I can't shoot back. And Myles is an advocate of this. He always telling us to have weapons. He always said, weapons, gear up, have it ready. But if we do anything,
we're
going to jail regardless. Regardless of situation. Shooting for self-defense, like if it's like just a civilian.
Shouts to the 7 people watching too, man. I appreciate it.
If it's the police, if it's the police, you going to jail. Like you going to jail, bro. Like if you use it, if a bullet comes out of the gun, you are going to jail. Like period.
Can everybody give their first?
I ain't never went to jail for shooting no nigga though.
Their first encounter of maybe like racism. Can everybody give theirs?
Odie, I wanted to comment off what you was just talking about.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I feel like that's very important, and I feel like people sleep on that as one of the great topics. As far as
hold on, hey Kenya, you good? You straight? It's past. It's like 6:55.
We gonna have to
I'm good.
transition.
Oh, cool. We good. No. I'm saying I was making sure she was straight. She can stay here the whole time. She on the flyer.
They made a post talking about, you know, how the training for being a barber has more hours than the police has more hours for training.
Facts.
I feel like that has to get expanded because there's so many situations and it's always, well, I wasn't prepared for this situation. So what the fuck are y'all doing in these trainings, bro? Because it's a lot, like, again, and that's probably me just working at a school. I could tell if a kid is autistic or not, you know what I'm saying? Even an adult. You know what I'm saying? You as a cop should be able to see and read all these issues.
And it's a child, though. Like, come on, man. It's a child. I think he had to be like 10 at the time, bro. Like 8. You know what I mean?
It's important that we have police and communities that are from the actual communities that they are policing. Like
they need mandatory speaking engagement in community services.
Like who actually care about like what's going on in their community. A lot of these motherfuckers come from like suburbs and go to like these cities with high crime and look at it as a way for them to like crack some heads or some shit, like be on the shield or some shit.
Bro, most of these police be like athletes that didn't make it and they be mad and frustrated. So
yeah, like want to take out frustration, bro.
It's a lot of them out here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that shit is that shit is very frustrating. Just all of that shit, bro.
But I can't remember my first encounter with racism because I didn't grow up around like white people or nothing. Really, the main shit was at Michigan State for real, bro, when they was hanging them black dogs.
Oh, that was the first?
That's like my first name.
Bro, let me tell you.
Airborne, but it was like
see, you wasn't trying to go to the white. We beat the shit out of fucking Sigma Epps for that racist shit. Like our first year at Michigan State, we beat the shit out of them niggas for racist shit. That wasn't the first encounter I had. Just at Michigan State. At Michigan State, that was the first encounter. We wasn't even frat yet. Like we beat the fuck out some niggas for some racist shit. Like we ain't had time for it. Even your man's Calvin was fighting. You know it was some shit if that was happening.
Hey, shout out to my guy Jay, man. He said they don't even view us as kids, man. That is a true fact. That's a fact.
Hey, my nigga JRJ shit keep getting flagged for review on YouTube, but I'm posting them, my nigga. No,
Jay, he got his own podcast as well. He really like a boisterous guy. Like y'all should tune in.
Hey, Jay, who knew? Cause he ain't never mentioned you here on the podcast.
I posted him on my page.
Who knew?
I posted him on my page.
Now I'm talking about here on the platform. The platform is what matters.
This
Who
what we
knew?
here today.
Hey, Jay, who
Me
knew?
and him support each other, brother. Stop
Who
it.
knew, Jay?
Me and him support each
Who
other, bro.
knew? I know now.
Man,
I know now. Nah, Jay, we fuck with you, bro. I ain't been on social media.
He actually a capper from Michigan State.
Oh, facts.
I believe. Yeah, I believe so. I think Michigan State. Yeah.
Yeah, Spooty is fake as hell. At times.
Come on. Hey, Jay know he be fake as hell too. Stop playing with me.
Nah, we fuck. Hey.
Stop it, bro.
I'm rooting for anybody that's black. The Wale voice.
But look, my first encounter. I'm gonna go to my first encounter. I was at a skating rink. I try to forget about this day because I was young, and I wish I would have did something. But I was walking past a group of white people, and they literally said, "What you looking at, nigger?" And I was at a shock of words to say, and I was actually with I think I was with my brothers. They wasn't with me.
How old were you?
I was probably like 8, 10-ish. I really when I say I try to forget this day. When I try to forget this day, I literally I don't know where I was at. I try to forget. I didn't tell nobody because I felt embarrassed. Like when I got to my brothers, I was like, maybe I should say something to them, but then I felt like I should have said something then. So I just try to forget about the whole shit. But it was a skating ring I was at, and I walked past them, and they just was like staring at me, and they said, "What you looking at, nigger?" And I just looked, and I just kept fucking walking, and from that day I was just like. I felt like a hoe. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like weak as fuck. But I mean, this is the first time. Well, I ain't gonna say this is the first time I said something. I just told my girl the other day. But I really haven't shared that with nobody, and I really didn't know how to feel. I felt more mad at myself because I didn't do shit. More mad at myself than them, to be honest. So that was my first encounter with face to face racial type of discrepancy or something like that. And I was like 8 or 10 or something like that. I'm still embarrassed though. I wish I would have fucked one. I at least would have punched one of them niggas.
You got your ass beat at 8, so I agree. I agree with you chilling. Because hey, if you outnumbered, nigga.
No, but I had my twin brothers with me. My twin brothers was with me, and my auntie and uncle at the time.
But they knew where they was at though.
Where was y'all at?
It was. I have to ask them to my auntie and uncle when I literally say,
fight.
They weren't around me where I was at, but we were in the same building. But when I literally say I try to forget the day, I literally just know what happened, but I try to forget it, bro, because I really was embarrassed about it.
I told Crack earlier today, I know this wasn't my first encounter with cops or nothing growing up on the east side, but the first thing I can remember with cops was negative. My mom's second husband, he walking out of the gas station with me in the car, and the cops was talking to him, asking him questions, and he's like, "I ain't do nothing, man. I'm just trying to get in the car, like my son in the car." And they took this nigga head and bashed it up against our Ford Explorer, bashed it up against it, started patting him down, arrested him first, then started patting him down, talking crazy to him. A cop came over to me. He like, it's okay, relax. And they let him go to get in the car, and we didn't have a discussion about that. And I realized why we didn't have a discussion about that was because it's just some natural shit that happens to niggas. They didn't find anything on him. He wasn't like a drug dealer. He wasn't a criminal. This nigga got a regular job at a plant. At a Ford plant. It's just but that's what I remember. You know what I'm saying? It's just that. And then just growing up, seeing a few of my niggas, you know what I'm saying? Seeing a few of my niggas get killed or anything like that. Cops never showed up. The ambulance always did. But the cops never showed up. We never got justice for a lot of my friends. It's niggas still walking around to this day that I know has something to do with it, or that I know was involved, and it's just we just leave it at that. They ain't never show up. Niggas done broke into my house. Niggas broke into my house on the east side 3 times. They ain't never gonna try to find these niggas. Just shit like that. I ain't got no good stories about cops unless they let me go for like a speeding ticket, driving on suspended license. Like I ain't got no real like heroic stories about cops. You know what I'm saying? Like I done talked to some of the white kids in Fraser when I was substitute teaching there. They got some heroic stories about cops. Like, oh, this nigga came and got my fucking cat out of a tree. Just came and the house was on fire next door. I can't. Man, these niggas don't show up for shit in Detroit. Not over there. Not over on East Warren. They weren't coming through. Like, oh, nigga died. Okay, well, you know, we know it's due to gang violence. We're gonna leave it alone. You know, it's just shit like that, man.
To shoot my dog on my dog, something happened where I could not, my people wasn't there, and I could not get this nigga head out the gate. And they rolled past, and like I guess my neighbor told him, like, you know, he having trouble with his dog, and they was trying to shoot my damn dog, bro. And just hearing like they say me cats out of trees and shit, my dog wasn't even on tip or nothing. Like that was the first thing the niggas was trying to do.
Shoot the damn dog.
Shoot the dog.
It's crazy. Kenya, can you your first encounter with cops ever, whether it was for you or
racism
for somebody you care about, just you know?
I got a lot of MSU stories.
Man, what East Lansing cops is the worst.
But you know what's crazy though? I think that I've never had a bad experience though. Well, no, I take that back. I do got a Miami story, and that one's really bad, and you know, still had to fight some of those things.
Myles made sure we ain't go to jail there. Myles made sure we ain't go to jail there, and he was drunk out his mind, and he made sure we ain't go to jail there, boy.
Yeah.
Nah, that's facts. Hey, Myles was drunk as shit, but he got us out that club, bro. I ain't gonna forget that. He got us out that club.
I being extra drunk Kenya, to get us out that bitch.
Bro, he said he like we ain't gonna do this here. He got us out of there, bro, because we was outnumbered, and now I was on tip. I didn't care.
I don't think I have I don't have terrible stories, but definitely some underlying like racism, white supremacy taking place, especially at MSU. I mean, like times that I remember one time I was hosting something at my apartment. I think it was in like Abbott Place, and you know we lived across the hall from our friends, and like I guess somebody had left the door open, and I'm walking out. I'm like, hold up! So I'm going to like close the door, and the cop then put his whole foot in. So it's me and the cop at the door. I'm like, you're not coming in my house, you know what I'm saying? But lo and behold, him and his buddies was in the house. And that was when I had the situation around, like, I know it's something illegal going on here. And he was saying like a lot of smart stuff. They ended up like making me do a breathalyzer. I think I blew like a 0.0 something. And it was just crazy, but they were trying every way they can to just find something with me. I mean, of course they let us go because they couldn't do anything, but it's just simple stuff like that. Like, all of this and you busting my crib, you feel me? Now granted, you know, there's a lot of things going on, smoke in the air and stuff, you know, college kids, people shouldn't have probably been drinking, but again, like, why? For what? You know what I'm saying? For what? But yeah, often stories at MSU.
Everybody's had like this crazy police interaction, I feel like, and yo, cops cannot stick their fucking foot in your door and stop you from closing it. Like that's how I got arrested off of that shit. I got arrested.
That's patriarchy though against me, little old me, you know.
Yeah, like if you deny like access to your crib, like they legally can't do shit. Like they can't. And I got arrested like behind that shit. Like when these cops put their foot in between like the door and made their way inside, and that's how I got the charges that were against me dropped. It was because it was basically an illegal search and seizure. You know what I'm saying, for the little case I had. But yeah,
but in a place like East Lansing, we're all they have to do.
Yeah, because we talked about that too. Like we even like
On Krack.
Why you want to throw that guy in jail? Listen to him. Come on, man.
We gotta pay like for our freedom, even when we didn't do shit, just to get charges dropped. If you can afford it. My camera just went out, but even if you can afford it,
because he said Sigma Pi white boy called us niggas, and if you was out there when we beat them niggas up, shouts to you. We beat the shit out of a whole white frat and like ran when the siren started going. We got the fuck on.
Right, okay.
If you was out there, shout outs to you because it was a tragedy for white people that day.
Tragedy.
It was a tragedy in the white community in Michigan State for that day.
Since we talking about
Tragedy.
Michigan State, can we segue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that time. It's about that time.
All right, we up the A. Just for the George Floyd shit, man. Hey, black people stay mobilizing. Please understand how voting in your local elections is more important than voting in your national elections. If you want that nigga to get out of off that prosecutor to get out of office that locks your nigga up, vote for it. It does matter. White people tell us that voting doesn't matter. It's systemic racism. Why are they still going to the polls while you at home, nigga? It matters. All right? You can't deny if a nigga is just landsliding a motherfucker. You can't deny that. All right? Please get out and vote in your communities. Please get out and preach and talk and protest about shit that you don't want in your communities. Stop running to these white communities. I'm victim of it. I'm in Clinton Township, my nigga. Trust me. Stop running to these white communities. We need to build up our black communities. We need to build up our black schools. We need more black educators. Shout out to Myles. We need more black educators. We need more black officers, more black prosecutors, more black judges. We need more black everything. And now, if now is any time for you to speak your mind on shit with your company or speak your mind with shit concerning any black issues, now is the time. Nothing's gonna happen to you, my nigga. I promise you. I wrote up emails for niggas that wanted to send shit to their companies. I wrote 3 fucking emails last week for shit that niggas wanted to send to their companies, and ain't nothing happened to them. They still got their job. They sent them fucking emails out.